Hello again. The Church of England is currently wringing its hands and agonising over the fact that so few famous Christians, especially those in the 500 years or so following the death of Jesus, were black. This is awkward in the modern world and something that the Church is very keen to rectify. After all, around the world there are far more black Anglicans than there are white ones. So surely they deserve to have a few black people in the early church with whom they can identify. The answer is, of course, to fall back on that old Christian standby, pious fraud. This means telling lies and deceiving the faithful if it is likely to draw them closer to the church. This used to be popular at one time with things like relic. A church would obtain the shin bone of St. Anthony or a fragment of the true cross and then invite the credulous to venerate these objects and pray for miracles. It was felt that this was a definite case of the end justifying the means, and if praying to Our Lady near some random piece of bone, even though the priest knew it was nothing special, then this was justified, as it would increase the person's faith. The Racial Justice Unit of the Anglican Church is now doing something very similar by painting pictures of one of the early church fathers, St. Augustine, black and pretending that he was from sub-Saharan Africa. A children's book has been published by the Church of England called Heroes of Hope, and it's been written by people working for the Church of England's Racial Justice Unit. The aim is to tell the story of black and brown saints who have been erased and whitewashed from history. One of these is St. Augustine, and a picture of him in the book may be seen in the thumbnail to this video. There he is, clearly a black man. There are two problems with this. The first is, of course, that although St. Augustine was indeed African, he wasn't black. So this is simply a falsehood being propagated in what is thought to be a good cause, the pious fraud of which I spoke. There is something more serious going on, though, because this picture is itself erasing somebody's ethnicity and culture. St. Augustine was born in what is now Algeria in the first half of the 4th century AD. He was a Berber. The Berbers had no connection whatsoever with the Bantu of sub-Saharan Africa. Their origins lay in the distant past in the Middle East and Eurasia. They were certainly not black, nor are they black today. The Berber are very proud of their ancestry and history, and the illustration in this book is in fact an instance of erasing the Berbers and overlaying them with black African image. This is a calculated gamble on the part of those writing the book. They know that many Anglicans are black and will be pleased to see one of the church fathers represented as a black man. Conversely, very few Berbers are Christian, and so their feelings can safely be ignored. In fact, what the woman who wrote this book and works for the Racial Justice Unit is doing is precisely what she complains of when she talks of brown and black people being erased from history. She is deliberately and cold-bloodedly erasing a Berber from history and replacing him with a Bantu, because she knows this will play well with black Anglicans. The hypocrisy of this move, which is made incidentally by a black woman, is enough to turn one's stomach.